Dun, 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 dun.
Let's start right out. Hey, what happened?
Hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name is Dean. And time for the program, if you will. Midweek, hump day, American Thanksgiving. It's all happening. We have a full show today. Which is, as always, brought to you by our friends at Easy Auto Financial. Easy Auto Financial, getting people in cars, and it doesn't cost you a dime. No financing charges. All credit welcome. EasyAutoFinancial.ca. Ed's Gitch. Gitch3, your promo code. Go to Ed's Fine Imports. Order 3 pairs of Gitch. He'll give you the 4th for free when you use promo code Gitch3. My favorite Gitch. Got to get them. They're awesome. Boxer briefs, pouch in the front. You win. Every time you wear them, you win. Of course, our friends over at domination.com. It's AI for people that like to game, stream, produce content, and so on. It takes you minutes instead of hours. Go to domination.com for all you need to know. DMNTN.com. If you're a producer, you'll love it. Anyway, time to get to the program. As always, great to welcome in everybody. Please welcome Lachlan Cross, who's going by the name Puzzles Can Be Fun today. Also, Bonzi, at Bonzi Live is where you can find him. And my friend and yours, intrepid reject reporter, please welcome to the program, lawyer and all-around advocate, Miss Caryma S'ad is back. Caryma S'ad is here, everybody. Caryma S'ad, how are you?
Hi, I'm
nice
good.
to see you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Did you get a king?
Which question do I answer first?
Why don't you answer mine, and that'll help answer Lachlan's first. Yeah. So where are you, and what size is the bed?
I'm currently in a Holiday Inn on a queen bed.
Which I guessed, by the way.
Yeah, I was like, wow. Or this is very distinctive. I'm in Peterborough, actually. I'm in Peterborough here on the ground, waiting to see what happens with Peterburgers, the restaurant in defiance of mandates. And Lachlan, what was your question?
I was just asking if you got a king.
No, it's a queen. It's a queen. I suppose I could have, but I didn't want to pay the upgrade. So donate to my GoFundMe, and maybe I'll get a king next time. Yeah,
I will. I'm going to donate to your GoFundMe today just so you can get a larger bed to sleep in with nobody else. That's great. Good for you.
I'm sending you a puzzle.
I'm
spending my money in that regard.
No, dude, like this is what we're going to talk about today with Caryma, and I'm so glad she's in fucking Peterborough. That's what I call it. It's not Peterborough. It's fucking Peterborough. If you've ever been to Peterborough, you know why I call it fucking Peterborough. It's like fucking Cochrane or fucking Airdrie or fucking Olds or fucking Red Deer, if you're familiar with that area of the world. But you're in Peterborough. You've been there for a couple of days. We're going to get to why. You're scoping out this non-observant anti-vaxx restaurant called Peterburgers. And if you've watched Caryma on Twitter, at Caryma Rules, where you can find her, the journey's been incredible. You've done the same thing with the anti-vaxx movement. You did the same thing with Chris Sky, and it's all falling apart. Like the fucking wheels are falling off the reject bus. And that's what we're going to talk about today, because the schadenfreude in watching everybody fucking implode has been absolutely incredible. Like, I haven't enjoyed watching people fail this much in my entire life. And I used to really, like, when I was younger, in my 20s and 30s, and I was on the radio and I'd watch people, start a morning show and fail. I'd be like, yeah, you suck. And then I'd watch other people start morning shows. I'm like, yeah, you fail for a reason because you're not me. And then when I decided to try to become a better person and evolve, I was like, oh, watching other people fail is bad to celebrate. Terrible to celebrate. However, I became
You come
familiar with a word
around.
called
You
big
come
time.
around again.
Yeah,
Full circle.
yeah, big time, full circle. However, and I do want to say this is that watching bad people fail and watching bad things happen to terrible fucking individuals, it might be my favorite fucking thing in the world to watch. And it's only been the last 2 years. Like watching people fight reality, watching people get upset because they don't want to play by the same rules literally everybody else has to play by, watching them try to make people's lives worse has been like a mind fuck for, generally speaking, 85 to 87% of Canadians who are fully vaccinated. But good news, Caryma's here. Her and I have been kind of working simpatico, and she's been doing most of the work. We've just been stealing it and then putting it in blog posts. But Caryma you've been there for all of it. Like, take me through where you think kind of the movement is, and then we'll get to Peterburgers and we'll work our way to Christopher.
Yeah. I
all
want
the
to
way
hear about
through
where this
Chris
Peter
Young.
Burgers thing is.
Yeah.
Like how this all plays into this discussion.
So, I mean, in a nutshell, you know, and I've been following this and documenting methodically for just about a year now. And I'd say we're at a juncture, like it's the rubber meets the road. And there's still a faction of people who are staunchly opposed to any measures that will mitigate the pandemic. And the numbers are dwindling. And as a result, that group seems to be escalating their behaviors with just more sort of dramatic things. But there are divisions that are emerging. You know, most notably with Chris Sky and his following is coming apart at the seams. But even sort of just more generally in the movement, lots of infighting, people being concerned that others are you know, there's ulterior motives, personal gain, which to many of us has been apparent from the outset. But you know, some people are waking up to this reality. So it's just everything is mayhem right now. If I were to sum it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So wait a second. You're saying that Chris Sky and a bunch of people in this movement have been operating under the guise of personal gain? Is that what I'm
Can
hearing?
you imagine that some of this was in bad faith? It's just crazy to think about.
Well, I've got a theory on that, right? Like, let's say you're standing outside of the herd and you're wondering where all the dumbest, easiest targets are, right? Well, they're probably going to follow something like this movement.
Yeah.
So then the people that realize, the ones that grift, that have those narcissistic personalities, the ones that take advantage of that type of individual, what are they going to do? They're going to mobilize and they're going to go right towards it. Right.
There's predators and there's prey. You're exactly right.
So, and all they did was just wave this flag and show them, hey, we're the dumb ones over here. Come take our money. Right. That's all they did. And so out of the woodwork came these individuals that are good at that and somewhat have some expertise in screwing people over that might not necessarily be that wise or might be vulnerable for whatever reason in their lives, right? And it's unfortunate, but I read a story today about QAnon and the group that's hanging out in Dallas and waiting for the Kennedys to return, all the dead ones. And apparently there's a guy down there.
Brian Portsman is his name. Yeah.
And apparently he's been making his followers give him money. And one family thinks that well, it was the sister that was the focus of the article. It was a Vice article. You guys may have read it. But the focus of the article was her and her sister, who they were really close until the last couple of years. And she was saying they suspect that this organization has pilfered $200,000 from her and her family. And our version of that in this country is Chris Sky. And we've been saying it for months now on this podcast. You know what? It's a scam, that he's just taking money from these people. And that's why he's getting more and more crazy, because I think he's losing.
Well, because he has to take it to the next level, right? And I think that's a good place to start. We'll get to Peterburgers. I know we're gonna start with Peterburgers, but let's get to Chris Sky, because it kind of all cascades down from him here in Canada, right? And I know he's not QAnon, but take me through the division before we get to Chris's finances. And I was lucky enough to receive a document dump from a couple of people, including leaked emails of him trying to score like $600,000 cash so he could launder it through a house. But anyway, we'll get to that in a second. But like, what is happening with Chris Sky? And to Lachlan's point, how are you're communicating with, certain people that were involved in the bus trip, certain people that have been involved in the T-shirt sales. That has now been split down the middle because of the extreme abuse that we've seen Chris dole out. And I've got a video. I'll play it for you.
Oh,
like,
you're
this
not gonna
is
play that again. It's
yeah.
awful.
I'll play it. So this is what. So we all know that Chris Sky's a piece of shit as a human being, and he treats people like you think he would treat people. We played this for you the other day, and then we'll get to the kind of the.
It's the fucking mission. I don't give a fuck about people's emergencies. There's shit on the fucking bus. Do you understand? Yeah. If you listen to somebody else again, I swear to God, I will literally grab you. I will grab you out, throw you out of the fucking bus, and leave you. Anybody else has any fucking problems, get the fuck out right now.
So I won't play the whole thing because it's just more of that. Like, it's just more of him being abusive. And as you can tell there, he physically grabbed someone. There's been physical. But what are you hearing? And take me through, like, the crack in the foundation and what's going on with Chris Sky.
So, I mean, to begin, like, he's really proficient at burning bridges. And I think that's, to his detriment, obviously. And to Lachlan's point, like, the reason he's getting increasingly desperate is because his pool of potential marks is shrinking as he alienates people. Basically, like, the past few days have been very chaotic because people are now, a former entourage are leaking videos like we just saw, and spreading sort of their truth, their information about how he acts. And so kind of the origins of the most recent fault lines start in Windsor. And there was a group of young people who had been enlisted to drive the RV. This was going to be a cross-country tour, starting in Windsor, then to Saskatchewan, and then out west further to Alberta, BC.
It's all because he can't drive, right? Like, Chris Sky doesn't have a driver's license and can't fly, so he has to commandeer like an RV. Right, okay, good.
How did he lose his license?
Flying wasn't an option.
DUI?
No, he didn't lose his license.
No, it's because he tried, it's a bail condition. He attempted to run over a police officer while evading arrest.
Wow.
So let's just let's sit with that for a second.
Okay.
Because it's that's only
Thank
one.
God he's still got Jenny.
His many pending charges.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he's got these people, and we can't really, like, they're not employees because nobody's being paid. These are all volunteers, and it starts with them being responsible for loading all of his merch onto this bus. People are not being fed, allegedly. They supposedly had to sleep in the cold RV without blankets, while Chris and Jenny were sleeping inside their house. This RV was just parked on the lawn, and it was like, okay, you guys stay out here. And the clip that you played is because the driver pulled off for 20 minutes or so to just get some fast food. People hadn't eaten for over a day, and that detour was taken as a personal insult by Chris. So he comes on, he berates these people who, again, he's not paying any of them, and he's not doing any of the hard labor that comes with trying to move hundreds of, thousands of pieces of merchandise. And in so doing, he basically scared these folks off the tour. And, that could have been the end of it, but someone else stepped up to be the driver, and that relationship dissolved as well, where the driver and their partner were effectively stranded in a different province, in Saskatchewan, I think, by Chris Sky. And these various breakdowns start happening publicly. And once the video that you just played, when that was released, I think that Chris was under the misapprehension that the actual driver of the RV was responsible for that, and so starts slandering him, and that then prompted this other guy to start putting information out as well. So the allegations are pretty serious.
What are they? Like, what are some of the things that they're alleging that Chris has been doing? Like, what are the allegations of abuse?
So allegations of abuse ranging from physical, emotional, not just towards his partner, but other people on the tour, people who sort of incidentally interacted with them. We've definitely seen it with, security guards, frontline workers, allegations of really like fraud. No one's, I don't think, used the F word within his clique, but the fact that a lot of the merchandise being sold on this cross-country tour was supposedly from the Back the Blue rally, which he was pretty adamant that this is 100% proceeds going to London police, which was suspicious in light of his charges where he supposedly was running over a cop. It seems weird to me that he'd be able to make that kind of a donation to police.
Also suspicious when the police said we have nothing to do with anything he's doing.
Right? I mean, there's just some questions being raised. And then he puts out a statement from, a lawyer that he supposedly hired to write a letter on behalf of London's police service members, but we don't know how many members. We don't know what the size of the retainer was. We don't know where the union factors into any of this, because typically you cannot contract additional counsel beyond sort of the union. That would actually, you'd be shooting yourself in the foot. So whoever is partaking in this, strategic misstep, maybe, allegations of like forcing his driver to kind of carry on, even though he was fatigued. And, I think what troubled me was discussion about the RV and how there were serious mechanical failures, and Chris just pushed through rather than miss a rally date. So, we're lucky that no one got hurt or run over as far as we know. The RV itself then got dumped basically, and Chris was supposedly like threatening to set it on fire, throw it off of a cliff to the actual owner of the RV. So surprisingly, there was no replacement that was provided. And then, he's been spreading these allegations, very serious allegations against the people speaking out against him. But really like without anything to back it up. So on the whole, he's just a hot mess and, escalating. We've said that before, but really seems to be backed into a corner and just taking it out on anyone in close proximity.
Yeah.
What does this Thai guy down in Costa Rica, what is his connection to?
They're like
Chris?
Competing thieves. It's there,
but were
that's all they are.
No,
it's
working
like
together.
No, they weren't. They were working separately, trying to fuck over the same group of people. Like it's just that Thai guy, the one that was like, hey, Chris guy's a coke freak and a steroid juice monkey and all that other
and he
stuff.
did the video from outside of a nightclub in Costa Rica.
Costa Rica, yeah.
Just, can you imagine? It's just, and the song playing in the background, just if anyone's attentive to detail, was "I Don't Care." So it was just like too perfect. And yeah. So meanwhile, these two are feuding with each other. Chris is trying to deflect from these videos, which I think have like people who were following
they've
him
outed
and
him.
saw value.
They've outed him as the abusive shit that he is, right? Like everything
It
that
was
we've
in
been
front of
telling.
our faces the whole time.
Yeah. Well, and that's what we were telling. Like when
But
we've had him on
now
the
we
show,
know.
we've had him on the show like 3-4 times. Every time he would become abusive to someone on the show. He would become abusive about somebody else.
Shit.
And it's nonstop. Like it's like we have been telling, Caryma's been telling you, I've been telling you, we've been telling you what this guy is up to. And like a year later, the gig is up to the point where he is so fucking desperate. He gave up all of his financial information to this lender. And I'm going to go through his finances. Let's talk about fucking fraud for a second. Let's talk about Chris Sky literally taking hundreds of thousands of dollars from people under the guise that he's giving it away. And he's not. He's not doing that. This is what he sent a private lender. He said, I want to buy a house, a country house in Leduc, 950 grand. He's got 350,000 to put down. So real quick, before we continue, how much money did he make in London? Around that amount. There you go. Then he says, listen, and I'm no fucking like loan expert, but if you're looking for a loan, don't tell the loan officer your credit history is shit. Complicated financial reporting situation, but money's there and it comes. Oh, that's good. It even is able to prepay a few monthly mortgage payments. When asked for details of his financial situation, this is what Chris sends this guy, who did send it to me, and I'm thankful for it. I pay myself net $6,000 a month direct deposit, $3,500 to $5,000 a month on the company credit card. Sky Homes pays my car lease payment, insurance payment, phone and gas on top of the $6,000 deposited, and $3,000 to $5,000 for visa expenses. I own a primary residence in Ontario worth a fire sale value of roughly $5.5 million, has $1.8 million mortgage on it. That is paid to Sky Homes, not me. And this is where, like, any man with any sense of pride would never put something like this in there. Any dude would be like, at 38, oh, my dad pays for everything. No, fuck. I would hide that for the rest of my life. But he goes out and he says, I don't pay $1 of it. I'm not selling this residence. Then he talks about having his book and speaking engagements all around the country. And then he's got a 2002 BMW and significant crypto holdings. Debts, company visa paid by Sky Homes, hovering probably around $12,000. No big deal. Paid every year, last 20 years by his dad. Few collections in dispute from car rentals, a few thousand each, and cash money disputes over $1,500. My credit is really wild, he says, because the government has a special eye on me, as well as my complex situation with the various companies. The important thing to me is to get the property in Alberta under a holding company and pay a premium for the anonymous style mortgage. I need someone who understands my unique situation and is ready to go outside the box.
I can't believe
I'm
you
just going to
bought
say
that.
fire sale is an interesting choice of words, because a little birdie tells me that there's jerry cans sitting outside his property as
In Vaughan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he has ripped people off for a fucking year. And here's the crazy part, Caryma. And I know that you're like,
I think
I
this
know
isn't a new thing for him either.
No, I don't think
he's
it is
probably had different elements of being this guy
Con
over
man.
the years, whether
Yeah.
it was this is just this is a new area, a new arena for him.
Yeah. But the thing is you're talking to people that he worked with that still believe that getting a vaccine is bad, but they also now think that Chris Sky is evil and he's been stealing people's money. And he's abusive, and this isn't and was never. Is that the consensus, that to the people that Chris worked with, this was never about trying to stop people from getting vaccinated? This was about trying to profit off of people's paranoia.
I think what I've heard from the people I'm in touch with is that they were under the assumption that he was trying to unify. And I don't know what gave them that idea, if we look sort of at Chris's trajectory. But really, they felt like let down, disillusioned by someone who they saw, or who portrayed himself as a hero, only to become the target of abuse. And I don't know that any one of them have necessarily changed their views. A few, at least, are not militant anymore about being anti-mask, anti-vax. The freedom of choice, I still think that that's a really like superficial and lazy approach to dealing with a pandemic. And that's I like there's room, I guess, for evolution and thinking, and I am always hopeful and optimistic that people will, as they take in more information, that's not really proven to be the case. So I don't know where that optimism comes from. But basically they're seeing Chris as having sort of split the movement, created this division, alienated people from the cause of freedom. That's the outcome that we're facing right now. And I don't think that that's an inherently bad thing, actually.
I don't think it is either, but I want to ask everybody here something. Locke, Bonzi, Caryma, I want to ask you guys, like, you're telling a story about people, young people, who he's taken advantage of that are equally as dumb as him. Maybe not as nefarious, but equally as stupid as him. Do you have any sympathy for any of these people that are like, oh, he made me drive 22 hours straight? I don't, because they got on the fucking bus. Like, I have zero sympathy for the reject parade. Bonzi, you?
Yeah, they're the boss of themselves. Ultimately,
yeah.
You don't like what's going on. He's treating you like shit. He's laying his hands on you. Bye. See you later, bud. And I got
but just being in the movement, right? Like just by the very virtue that they thought, this is our guy. Like, I got no sympathy for him because, and you might say, oh, he's been pulling the wool over everybody's eyes, or like he's a con man, and there's no way people know, and who's gonna know? It fits every stereotype when it comes to a dictator, when it comes to a cult leader, when it comes to a con man. He fucking fits every single one.
Yeah. How is his dad still supporting him? Sorry to...
I don't know.
I don't think
he might be lying about that, Bonzi.
You think he's lying about that in his thing?
I think so. Because hasn't his dad publicly gone on record multiple times and said that he's cut him off, that he doesn't have anything to do with him anymore?
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
For me, whenever
sorry for
something...
people that get abused by him, I kind of don't. Like,
for me, what I keep going back to with these things is just like whenever you hear about a new scam, right?
Yeah.
Like somebody comes up with a new angle and your phone rings and you got somebody on the line telling you that, if you don't pay them money and meet them at a ATM,
yesterday I got one of those calls yesterday. The guy's like, at first it was recording, my phone rang, and I never pick it up, and I'm like, this number's weird, I'm going to answer it. I answer, it's like, you owe X amount of dollars, and if you don't pay it, you're going to be arrested immediately. Please hold for the next available operator. And I'm like, fucking awesome. This is going to be great. Yeah. So they put me through to that guy, and I'm like, hi there. And he's like, hi, you are trying to avoid arrest. We need $12,000. I said something really awful about his mother.
So here's the thing. I always go, how do these people get sucked into this? And then you go on the radio and you talk about it, and then you have somebody call in and go, well, that happened to me, and I met the guy at the ATM, and you're just like, what? I keep trying to figure out why people are at where they're at right now with some of this stuff. And I'm trying to figure out why people have certain belief structures, and I'm having a lot of trouble figuring it out, to be honest with you, because it's concerning, is it not? So I'm not at the point where I'm feeling sorry for anybody. I'm more confused about where we're at, because some of this stuff seems wildly obvious to me. Like, I can appreciate somebody being vaccine hesitant, or looking into some because they have allergies, or because they're on a medication being concerned about, but I have absolutely no idea why that guy's selling hot dogs at a freedom rally. It makes no sense. Like, what is going on in your mind? And we run into it all the time because we're on the front lines. We'll have a conversation about this stuff, and people get mad at us when we're joking. This morning, we got people mad at me because I was joking about the vaccine for the kids. Also, there was an ingredient in it that helped kids learn Chinese faster. And I'm kidding. Why are you getting so mad? I was like, we're on our way to a communist state. And what they've done is they've increased your children's ability to learn a second language, Chinese, which is the only language we're going to need moving forward. Because clearly all of this is just leading us right down the path to communism.
Right.
And people are mad at me.
Because they took me
Don't they
seriously.
see that as a joke?
No, they don't. They don't. Like, I put this out the other day because we were laughing about how you were going to play this joke on everybody on December 4th, Lock. You're going to send Jimmy to West Edmonton Mall to the Chris Sky rally. You're going to say, hey, the vaccine made this guy, he used to be 6'3", now he's 4'8". He's now a midget. It's terrible. And on the
Jimmy's
back of that,
4 foot, by the way.
I was going to, well, sorry, 4 feet tall. On the back of that, again, a joke, and people will take it seriously. I put this out, and I got so many people going, you are a fucking jerk. And Jim Richards was kind enough to post this. It's like, hey, this Kyle Kuzma took the vaccine. Look at how much smaller he is.
He doesn't even fit in his giant pink sweater anymore.
Look at how much he shrank after he got the fucking vaccine. So, like you can't joke with these people. There's like a certain group of people that think it's funny. Like, I think the vaccine jokes are funny now. I really do, because who fucking cares? But these people take it seriously. And if you listen to Chris and those things, Caryma, you can hear him talk about, this is the mission. We're going to my mission. But in the back of his head, which he's not telling everybody, is that mission is to score between 10 to 20 grand at each event. That's the number that I've been hearing.
And I mean,
is he getting that much?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Dude,
that's what the
he made
people
like
handling the money
240
are
grand
estimating.
in London. 240,000 one day. Apparently, that's the number that's getting kicked around. And
I don't know about like that precisely.
much?
I've heard between 10 to 20 per rally, and maybe more at some of the bigger ones. So he's definitely like making money hand over fist. But this idea of a mission, I think, you know, it's first of all, it's not a monolith of people who follow him, right? Like the people are there for different motivations, different reasons. Some have troubled backgrounds. But like Lachlan, you asked why. One sort of commonality that I've observed is people really want to feel like the hero of a story. And, you know, the pandemic, I think, has rendered a lot of us feeling impotent or powerless. And suddenly someone comes and presents this opportunity for you to, you know, be a savior. And hey, in so doing, you get to ignore all of these inconvenient, you know, requirements, public health requirements. And you get to kind of be an asshole to people around you. So like that, I think, is appealing. And that's not great. But I think it answers the why to some extent, like feeling like you're doing something, even when you're not. And in fact, you might be making things worse.
Yeah, I know why, like a Chris Sky is doing it. And that was obvious to all of us, right? It was always a grift. It was always money. But again, I understand. Like I said, I understand some people's concerns about like our public officials and how things have been, but there's that next level where I'm not taking this because I don't trust this because of the cabal and like all this craziness. And those numbers are increasing, right? Like that group isn't this tiny, loud little group. It's a big moving target now.
I don't know if it's that
It
big
is.
a deal.
It's
I don't.
bigger.
Caryma, you're around these groups, right? Is it diminishing, or are the groups splintering and just getting more militant because they're getting angrier?
You seen the crowds down in that QAnon thing
I
down in the
think they're
States?
intensifying. That's for sure. So they're intensifying. Are they growing in numbers? I'm not sure, but I do think that some of it sort of seeps out and kind of poisons the people around them who they interact with, and you know, ideas take seed, and maybe you're not going to accept every crazy conspiracy, but one or two might latch, and then, you know, so I don't know if the numbers are actually increasing. I think that we have a small, very, very vocal, very, very dedicated and extreme minority. I think that that's what we're looking at.
So can I ask you a quick question then? have you guys heard of the central governor theory? Have you guys heard of this theory? I was doing some research into cognitive bias. Hang in with me, okay? I'm gonna get deep, real deep. There's a thing that exists in all of us called the central governor theory. It's when your brain decides through a series of experiences that its life is too much and it shuts down, right? And then you go another way. Now, the way that this plays out, the central governor theory, which is what every endurance athlete manages his endurance athleticism with, which is like, I need to know where, how far I can push myself physically and mentally, and I need to know when my brain is going to just shut down, right? My theory is this, is that these people are so stupid that, and it's clear that they're dumb because they've been working for Chris Sky for free, taking abuse for a year. These guys at Peterburgers, which I want to get to, are throwing their lives away. I'm going to get to Doug Ford's son-in-law. He just threw his $120,000 staff sergeant job with TPS away. And the reason why, and I would love to, I think this is the truth, is there's a central governor in each one of these people that exists in a way that protects their brain and the perception around them from being as stupid as they are. When you interact with these guys, like I'll bring this picture up. This is something out of Peterburgers. These are the guys at the restaurant that you've been trying to cover. They're anti-vaxx. They don't believe in any of the measures. They don't believe that any of this is real. They think that they should just be allowed to carry on, and they're being shut down. It's a hole-in-the-wall, shitty burger joint in Peterborough, Ontario. And all of these guys held a protest the other day where Caryma was trying to cover it to try and stay open. Public health was going to shut them down. And so you know what they did, Locke? These people, because of this central governor issue that they have, they decided instead of getting vaccinated and staying open, and this guy has a family, kids, you can see everybody here, it was to sleep inside the restaurant, make burgers on the floor as they got ready for a big day where they could go and sell burgers against the wishes of the Ontario government and the shutdown order. So, and while they were in there, this is a restaurant. While they're in the restaurant making food for people, they all got fucking tattoos. They all got these Mandalorian tattoos. All of them. Every single one of them.
And the significance of the Mandalorian? We're not sure.
No one knows.
No,
I'm glad they found each other.
It's a poor adaptation, I think, of a Spartan helmet because their shtick or their branding, because it's branded and there's merchandise and decals and stickers, if anyone's interested, is hold fast. Hold fast. Hold fast, go broke.
Oh,
the go broke was my addition.
Oh, that's go broke. But that's like that. That's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with people here whose brains don't function like everybody else's, right? Like it's got to be. That's why you're in Peterborough. You're in Peterborough covering a group of people whose brains do not function like everybody else's. They're too stupid to legitimately do the right thing.
How are we okay with homemade ink, but not a vaccine? Like it just there's this discrepancy.
It's not even worth. There's so many layers of hypocrisy. It's crazy.
I didn't even think of that. These guys
the other
vaccinated,
thing too,
but they'll let someone take a prison tattoo to their chest in a restaurant.
It probably is. Every year they shut down these home-based tattoo joints in Alberta, right? Yeah. And then they put warnings out on like PSAs. I mean, and the warnings should say if you're ringing 16 to get into a tattoo parlor, you might want to think twice about spending your money, right? Like the guy's washing off the thing in the sink, right? Like, what are you doing? But and I'm like, who does that? Who gets those things?
Those prison tattoos?
Like they actually have a lot of business, these guys.
But listen, you're talking about a group of people that are throwing their business away because they don't want to get an injection. But they all sat around and got fucking like legitimate illegal prison tattoos.
Yeah.
Sitting around making burgers.
Yeah.
What a fucking group of losers.
To be fair, I think they ran out of meat after the first day. So I don't know that was happening simultaneously.
Did you eat there?
I did not. They ran out of burgers, as I said.
Would you guys eat food made by an anti-vaxxer? I wouldn't.
I did not eat the burgers.
Right.
As it happened,
as long as they had a mask
the choice
on
was made by the
and they
universe.
washed their hands, I'd be okay with it.
I would
if it had some reputation to it, I'd be all over it. As long as what Locke said, they got to be at least.
Want them to be clean.
Yeah.
But my thing is like, listen, if an anti-vaxxer, like, you should never go to an anti-vax restaurant. That's like taking your fucking life in your own hands. Because if they don't believe in public health measures, what are the chances that they fucking employ the 5-second rule? Pretty good, right? Like,
I still
honest to God.
apply it. Yeah.
If you know someone who runs a business that serves food that refuses to get vaccinated, don't go to their place of business. It's a shithole. If they don't believe in public health measures, they don't give a fuck about getting that green pass in the window that says, hey, yeah, this place is clean, you can eat here. They don't give two shits. If they don't care if they die, they definitely don't care if you get salmonella. That's a fact. Right?
Locke and I do eat at Arby's, though, in our defense.
That's not the same.
It's tempting fate. Caryma, while we're on the top of crazy fuckers, Doug Ford's daughter, Krista Ford, is, and this is the premier of the province of Ontario. You've been very outspoken about it. You and I did a couple of pieces on it today that have gone gangbusters. Thanks for the clicks, everybody. But Doug Ford's daughter's husband, so the premier's son-in-law, lost his job today.
What's his name? Wu-Tang or Hardwang or what? No. What is it?
H-Train.
H-Train. Sorry.
H-Train.
H-Train.
Sorry.
Come on.
His name's Ernie Haynes. Listen, if my name was Ernie Haynes, I'd go by H-Train too. He also goes by the nickname Juggernaut because
Juggernaut. Okay.
he's a big dude. He's scary. He's scary, big, strong, juiced up dude.
He might look out.
So the big fella, H-Train, because he's not vaccinated, lost his $120,000 a year Toronto Police Services staff sergeant job yesterday. And he made the choice. I'm not getting vaccinated. Part of the new update to TPS is got to have the vaccine. He's like, fuck this, because I'm too dumb to understand it. I'm H-Train. I'm the Juggernaut. I'm not going to put a lot of critical thought into vaccines. Okay?
How do you get
All I want to do is go and do some squats.
You get a name called H-Train when you do a whole bunch of steroids. Why is he okay with buying steroids from Lou in the parking lot?
We don't know
shooting that into his ass.
We don't know
outside of a Gold's Gym in Hamilton, but he's not willing to go to a clinic and get a fucking vaccine. The hypocrisy is he got the name H-Train because he likes steroids. That's why he got that name.
There's nothing in the
how
vax that's going
these
to make it
people
bigger.
can't make this connection is just, it's insane to me.
They'll tell you that
really
they know
is.
what's in the roids, a steroid user who's an anti-vaxxer.
What's in the roids? I don't know what this
roids.
in the horse
Roids.
Piss? Wait,
roids is
thank
in
you.
the roids. Yeah. But let me just show you a picture. So this is Krista. This is the fucking guy. Her dad is in charge of the province of Ontario and the vaccine rollout. He's been telling people to get vaccinated. So he gets fired. H-Train gets gassed yesterday.
He's not unpaid leave, but I mean, functionally the same.
Unpaid leave, and if you don't get it, you're fired. So he's fired. So she says, quote, never thought I'd see the day 20 years into the job he so faithfully served just after earning a promotion to staff sergeant. Woe's fucking me. He made a decision. It doesn't end there. H-Train's wife, the premier's daughter, goes on, I think what could only be described as one of the greatest Jesus is Lord QAnon rants I've seen from anybody in this country, while she's once again on an exercise bike. Because, yes, she's just that fucked in there.
So we kind of knew this was coming. Dave was very hopeful that it wouldn't come. We know that the services and the resources are extremely limited, and it would just be so silly to send a very well-trained officers home on unpaid leave in a time like this. But unfortunately, they made a very silly decision. We still hope and pray that they will overturn their silly decision, and that these amazing officers, firefighters, nurses, teachers, everyone that has been sent on unpaid leave get to go back to doing what they love. Because we certainly know that these careers that are being taken from people are careers that people have spent their life either working towards or working for. So we're very hopeful that justice will prevail and allow the men and women to go back to work.
It's not over yet.
Then she released another video and she said, people behind all of this will be held accountable. God wins. Evil does not win. God will win. I'd like to point out that God lost yesterday.
But when they lose, when
Big
Jesus
L's.
doesn't step up for them,
Big
it was
L's.
his plan.
Yeah. I know.
But God is great when it
If
works
they get what
out
they
for
want.
them.
That's the part about God and QAnon, which is fucking incredible to me, right?
But
The part
didn't
that's
God give us a vaccine? Like, that's just...
Yes, he did. God gave people the
No,
ability, if you do
I
believe
thought
in God, the
Satan
ability to
gave
come
us
up
the
with
vaccine.
No, that's what they want you to think. The devil gave us the vaccine. Right?
Or the Chinese.
The Chinese gave us the vaccine.
Fucking Big Bird. I knew we could blame him.
Big Bird gave us the vaccine. It doesn't matter. But here's a question for you guys. And I would love to know. I am shocked that we're the only people talking about this. Like, legitimately, the premier's daughter is a psychopath. Like a QAnon fucking spewing anti-vax psychopath. No one's saying a fucking word about it. Just us. Me and Caryma. That's it. No one, and then all the carries on, but all the people who fucking hump on the back
You
of it.
guys
But,
haven't seen any press.
Nothing.
This because the only thing I've ever seen is on our
From
pod.
us. Yeah.
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 I
Caryma,
think
you're
the
gonna say?
standard sort of logic of family is off limits, like that goes out the window when you have a premier who has, jokingly or not, said that his family lobbies him on matters of public policy. And then we sort of consider some of his decision making throughout the pandemic. And goodness gracious, is this someone who's in his ear? Like, that's a legitimate question to ask. I don't think that that's a low blow going after someone's family. Like, we have a right to know.
They would in
and
the
I don't
States.
understand why everyone is silent on this.
Well,
Like, I don't know.
and I do understand why, and I talked to a few people in mainstream media, which are not media organizations, mainstream power centers. Let's just call them that. These are mainstream power centers. And the reason why they don't talk about it is very, very simple, is that Doug Ford is a media darling in terms of the relationships that he has with the people at the top of these media outlets. Good buddies with people at CTV/Bell. Great buddies with the people that head up Rogers. And he legitimately scares them. Here's why he scares them. Because the people that run these mainstream power centers have no fucking values. Zero. So to them, all they want to do is stay close to the guy that can set the rules for the province. The dude just decided he was going to throw a fucking highway and destroy a whole bunch of land, all going up to his cottage. He's putting in an $800 million highway so he and his friends can go to the cottage faster. Like that's legitimately what he's doing. So like you don't, and none of the reports are like, other than the Star, and they're kind of like backhanded. Nobody's reporting on it honestly. Like not one person. He's going to destroy species. He's going to destroy wetlands, just so he can get to the cottage and his buddies can get there faster on a fucking Friday night. And no one's saying a word. When it comes to his daughter, I talked to, and I won't tell you which mainstream organization, but I talked to someone and they said, here's how it works. Doug Ford and Ivana Yelich and the Ford administration approve the people that are allowed to be involved in his pressers. And everybody can call in. Doesn't matter where you're from. But they just won't get to those people if Doug Ford and his group think that he's going to be challenged on anything like this. And there's another rule on top of that Doug and his group have put out to everybody. And yes, I have heard the same thing. I had someone email me last week and say, hey, Doug wants you to chill out. And I'm like, tell him to fuck off. So here's how that works. And this is one of the great ones. How it works is there's this weird, stupid fucking blanket rule, which Caryma referred to earlier, where you don't go after a politician's family.
So that's
Here's
a
the problem.
legitimate
Yes.
rule?
Absolutely. And that's what Doug is now lording over people. Here's the
Is
problem.
that why Sophia
his daughter,
goes unscathed quite a bit?
Yes, very much so. His daughter put this out the other day. And kids are fucking getting vaccinated. 87,000 vaccination appointments in Ontario the other day. The province, her dad had someone put out a tweet that said, hey, we got 87,000 bookings for kids. That day, his daughter puts this out. We're lining our kids up to get something that might kill them to protect them from something that won't kill them. Like, and no one says
How does that
anything.
make any sense?
It doesn't make a lot of sense. She's just basically saying the vaccine's going to kill kids, which it's not. It's going to save kids. It's going to save us.
There's
I
this
said out
perception that
loud-
COVID is harmless to children, which I don't know why they think that.
It isn't.
Well, it isn't harmless to children, but the reason why the kids aren't getting what? Do we have to say this out loud?
Yeah.
The reason why we're vaccinating the kids is to reduce the spread, which might actually end up getting somebody that actually has comorbidities that would die from COVID, and then the numbers continue to go up. So
There you go.
it's a selfless act to go get the vaccine. It's interesting. I was talking to somebody about, my confusion about why people take these stands, right? And they brought up an interesting point, was that some people need a fight like this. They need a flag to wave, right? And they enjoy it. And that's what the Ford family, that's what this looks like to me. Right? I think this does sort of maybe hit all of the marks of their already existing sort of narrative in their lives, right? The religious stuff and whatnot that she leans on. But I also think they love it. They love the fact that they've got this cause and they've got this flag to wave, right? Mm-hmm. She sort of seems like that.
Well, it's just she's so stupid that she thinks that she's a hero.
What does she do?
Nothing.
What's her career?
Nothing. Unemployed 30. Husband's like
Sure.
50. Yeah, no, nothing. She does nothing. She does nothing. And now her husband's out of a job, which she was worried about because he's selfish too. That's the fucking crazy part about all this to me. Is it like,
I'm
they
keep
telling us
each other.
Yeah, me too. They keep telling us they're in it for us, but they're not. Like every time we turn around, they tell us something, and every thing they're telling us that is for us is legitimately a projection. It's legitimately like every time I see Christopher put out something this fucking ridiculous. Oh, sorry, that's Chris's financial situation again. Every time I see her put out something like this about kids, I'm like, the reason why she's doing that is because she's trying to move the fence out so that she doesn't have to get fucking vaccinated. She's trying to like convince everybody that it's terrible for them so that she can keep people away from her, right? That's the goal. The goal
What's
is
interesting about
to
this
tell
is
everybody that there's a war outside when there's no war outside.
I
So
think
people won't go outside.
I think there's a bigger conversation about the stuff that gets reported and doesn't get reported, right? And I mean, and that's part of this narrative in these times as well. And it's part of the reason why we're so divided, because there is all this speculation about what it is that we're allowed to see on Facebook and what they're hiding and what the real story is. And that feeds this conspiracy theories as well. And I've said this numerous times. I think the mainstream media's avoidance of talking about Chris Sky, which I think they've done so that they don't put this asshole up on a pedestal, is fair, but it's also done a lot of damage. He's been allowed to sort of coast underneath of this. He's sort of rode this wave of underground fame a bit, which has allowed him, I think, to take advantage of more people, which has made him more dangerous. Like if we would have maybe outed him in the mainstream media a little bit more, would he be still walking away with $20,000-$30,000 every rally and basically ripping all these people off? Mm-hmm. Here's the other question: if I walk up and I buy one of those $50 hoodies that he's selling,
60.
Just say no.
Oh,
how much?
Ripping off $10, $60.
$60 for a t-shirt, but no, it's $100 for the hoodie, is it not? In autograph,
$100 if you buy both, $60 for the hoodie, and otherwise, I think
40 for
the
the
t-shirt, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
So, is anybody dumb enough to think that money is going to some sort of cause or something? Like,
Yes.
That's my point. A plethora of them.
So they think that he is using this money to
To save
fight
the world.
for freedom.
Save the world.
They know
think
he's just
saving
finding
the
a coke dealer at the outside of every town and buying enough blow to kill a barn animal, right? Right?
I don't know.
He maintains that the Back the Blue rally was a police fundraiser and will tout an Instagram comment from the lawyer he supposedly hired as a third-party payer, which again seems like a conflict of interest, but what am I to say? And people will hold that up as this is he's just trying to help us for our freedoms. Like there's no real reflection or thought put into anything, and it people will have to open their own eyes. Like you can't force feed it, because then it's fake news and it's coming from Caryma Antifa, so we don't trust it. But okay,
I wonder if the hoodies
Caryma
are made in
Antifa.
China.
They probably are. I
hope
doubt that they are.
I
Yeah.
hope so.
Well, listen, Caryma, you've done an incredible job dedicating your expertise to following these guys around. And I said this to you on a phone call earlier, is that who would have thought a year ago, when you're going through the trials and tribulations of being followed home and all this bullshit and all the losers and the lunatics and the through the tears and the frustration, who'd have thought that you'd be here with a front row seat to the demise of all the craziness, like all that work that's gone into.
You honestly think it's going to go away, though?
Oh yeah, totally, dude.
I think he's going to go away. I think
he's going to get arrested or murdered.
And honestly, the next guy is going to be more dangerous, because Chris made it really easy to take him down, because he's
He's an idiot. 5'2".
Yeah. So that too. So he made it really easy. It was low hanging fruit. And so whoever comes to replace him, like the next contender, is probably going to be less blatant about being a racist, a homophobe,
misogynist,
violent,
abusive,
misogynistic,
dick.
all of that.
Yeah.
So we we can't get complacent. I think we need to stay vigilant, because I don't think the movement itself is going anywhere. It just mutates, and the goalposts are constantly shifting. If we've learned anything, it's that. So I'm not resting on my laurels, but it is very vindicating to sort of watch this collapse in real time.
It's awesome.
Caryma, we did mention it at the top. I can't remember if we were live or not, but I will tell you about the development with the plan for Jimmy to go to the rally. So December 4th, 11th, and 18th at the West Edmonton Mall, Chris Sky is organizing this protest through the mall, unmasked, unvaxxed, and they're going to shop in peace. And if they run into any security guards from West Edmonton Mall, they're going to hog tie them with zip ties and leave them for their bosses to come collect. That's out of the words of the mouth of Chris Sky. And what we wanted to do, because he always has these pump up speeches before they go and do whatever they're doing. If they're going to raid a Canadian Tire or a Sobeys or whatever the hell it is to go buy syrup, he always has these rallies, or these speeches out front. And I said, we should get you up there, Jimmy. Jimmy is a midget. He is a little person. He's got dwarfism. He's 4 feet tall. And what we want him to do is go on and on about how he was forced to take the vaccine. His employer, told him that if he wanted to keep a paycheck, so I had to do it. And now I'm 4 feet tall. Last week I was 6'2". So I know Jimmy won't do this, and I don't blame him. I understand why he doesn't want to do this. But we have morphed that into our next plan, because we had a couple people asking about it in the comment section. The next idea is to do like a testimonial video where he talks about, getting the vaccine and how much of an impact it's had on his height. Like
losing
he's lost
2 feet.
Losing 2 feet. And then the whole time I want him with one of those. Actually, if anybody in Edmonton area has an oxygen thing to wrap around, doesn't even need to be plugged into a tank. It just, every time I see anybody complaining about the vaccine, they're always hooked up to oxygen. So,
and the reason why they are is because they smoked 80 billion cigarettes in the 40 years of their
I think it's just
youth.
a prop. I think these videos are just prop videos, and so we're going to get Jimmy to do one. I'm gonna write it and probably produce that early next week.
I think
It's actually shocking how many are smokers, because I don't know many smokers in other aspects of my life. Like I know smokers, but like a lot of people in this movement are smokers, like cigarette smokers.
Oh
Yeah.
dude, they're smokers, they're drinkers, they're addicts. They're like, it's like, this is the thing, is it's suspending reality for them, right? Every single one of these people, their belief system is completely derived. Now, pay attention, because this is the truth, and it's like this for everybody.
Fish
Your
supply
belief
store. Thank you,
system,
Wade.
your belief system is derived from a sense of belonging.
Yes.
So these people feel like they belong. They take on the beliefs of the group.
That's
The
a good
beliefs
point.
of the group are very shallow, because generally speaking, the group is dumber than a fucking sack of tack hammers. So they take on the beliefs of dumb people and they do what dumb people do. It is legitimately evolutionary psychology. Like, I am not telling you a story and going, oh yeah, it's just an excuse for me to call them dumb. No, it is legitimate. These people are so stupid that they look for other stupid people, because those stupid people share the same belief groups, and all of a sudden they got community. It's science, everybody. Anyway, Caryma, I appreciate you. Go ahead.
Thank you.
No, go ahead.
Just on
That
that point,
explains
it's
religion.
like, because knowing that, it's sort of, how do we then kind of react and gauge? Because if we are like ostracizing further, it pushes them more into those communities, right? So like, how do we tap into kind of the empathy and kindness without endorsing or enabling these, what I think are dangerous beliefs? And I don't have the answer to that, but
I haven't got it either. And I'm glad you brought that up, Caryma, because I say that out loud, and I've said it out loud for a while, because I'm not exactly sure how to bridge that and when you attempt to, it's not taken seriously, and sometimes it's actually used against you, right? So and what you're doing, I don't know whether or not, because your approach to it is not one of conflict. It never has been. Any of your videos or any of your posts or anything
Documenting.
like that, it's just a presentation of the information. And I don't know if that's helping. Like, what we do is on this
Helps
podcast is definitely not helping.
Well,
If
and then you
anything,
have
we're
to ask
polarizing.
yourself the question: do you
Polarizing,
want to
just
fuck?
putting it out there?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and I'm reminded of it when I watch a video of you like hanging out with the people on the bubble bus, because you're all being nice to each other and they're offering you a warm place to stay to cover this stuff. And it's like, there are good people in every group. I'm not saying the dumb people we're talking about aren't good people that deserve to be brought out of the darkness into the light. What I'm saying is that I'm just not the guy to do it. Right. Like, I know that that's a point of consternation for you, Caryma, where you're like, okay, like you might have a captive audience of a few people that have been riding with this dick hammer for a couple of months, and they're like, oh, we're so disenfranchised. And you're like, oh, I have an opportunity to make sense to these people. And I do too. I get lots of DMs and emails from people who are like, hey, sorry about that. And I'm like, and some, depending on the reply, I'll go, hey, good for you. Keep reading, keep evolving. And some people I just go, fuck off. Like, I don't fucking care. I don't care about you. I don't care about the light that you've seen. I care about, I'm going to continue to tell the story and tell the truth and be accountable.
The way
and
I
that's
want
it.
to tell it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well,
right.
I
So,
mean,
anyway.
it's like any level of.
Hang on, hold it.
Bonzi, you
Bonzi
go.
wants to say something. Yeah. Go
Yes.
ahead, Bonzi. You've
You
been.
go.
Well, I was just wondering, how much longer is this twit going to be around? Honestly, like, what is the timeline, Caryma? You've been
Not
following him the most and stuff. Is he going away anytime soon, or where are we at?
For my,
He's gonna go to
I
jail.
see him being done by Christmas. I'm done with him by Christmas. So
Same.
if he sort of continues to exist after that, I think he will just sort of continue to fade into irrelevance.
Sure.
Or
Bless us all, baby Jesus.
or the dude who he took the RV from, who happens to be a member of a biker gang,
Shoots him.
isn't going to be too pleased, and something happens there too. I've heard a couple of stories from people in the community of guys up in Vaughan. Vaughan has a very healthy group of biker people, and he has run into them several times. And through a mutual acquaintance, I have found out a few things about Chris Guy. And there's a certain group of guys that like to that are not happy with him right now. Like, not happy with him. So if it's not a cop that does him, if it's not him that does himself, it'll be something else that does him. And I'm here for that too. legitimately.
The one thing about him being in Edmonton now is we're sort of trying to make the connections between the people that we know in the Edmonton area that are sort of on the fringes of this organization. And I mentioned it the other day about somebody we know that's talked about this commune that is starting just outside of Edmonton, where all of the anti-vaxxers are going to go and wait for us to all die, everybody that got vaccinated, and then they're going to move back in and take the city over. And it's that group of people is a strong collection of society, and they'll be able to.
Are you going to go to Edmonton, Caryma, for these rallies to follow Chris, or no?
I haven't left the province at this point. I sort of joked about wanting to follow him on his tour, and then decided that would not be the wisest use of my time or resources.
No.
So
you'll be able to comment and document it like we do from out here, where it's like, hey, listen, he's in Edmonton. The videos still get all the way out here when he gets popped and beat up by a couple of mall cops, right? So it's all good.
The one thing about that commune is that he has hinted at that. So I wonder if he is here because of that group that is planning on building this. And I think somebody has land or something, and something's going on.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the personality for a commune.
He's going to get he'll get murdered by the commune guys. Dude, he is so fucking soft. It's unbelievable too. That's the other thing, is that this act that he puts on is just fucking bullshit. He's the softest guy I've ever fucking seen in my life. Soft. If you have not met an Albertan that goes through the winter outside and loves it, you have not met a real man. And Chris Sky is not a real man. And I can tell you this, as nuts as the people are in Alberta, they're the hardiest group of fucking... They live in the worst place in the world between Alberta and Saskatchewan when in winter, and they don't give two fucks. They love it. They enjoy it. They look forward to Frostbite. Frostbite's an activity to those guys. With a guy like Chris, he'll be in the hospital for a month and a half complaining that, oh my God, my fingers, my nails. Like, legitimately, he is not going to mix well out there. And it is going to end... Like, all signs point to murder.
Don't endorse this. I don't endorse murder.
I don't either. But all signs are trending that way.
We're not endorsing it. We're saying
we're predicting it. Okay.
Yes,
we're. This is different.
Caryma, I'll let you go because I know you probably want to get going to Peterburgers to cover that mess. So listen, you have a wonderful day.
Thanks for having me.
Always great to have you. At Caryma Rules on Twitter. Sadvacacy.com.
No pickles.
Skip the pickles.
No pickles.
I'm going to eat at the restaurant across the street, probably.
And then wave.
Talk to you soon. Thanks, Caryma. Appreciate it.
Puzzles can be fun.
Yeah. Fucking crazy. He's gonna. I don't want to. You can't say that when you got a lawyer. She's a lawyer too, by the way. But all signs point to murder. Dude, I had a conversation.
That's why she was waving frantically. I don't want to be on this section of the podcast where they talk about the guy dying.
Hey, you want to see how good Chris? You know how fucking stressed Chris out? Listen,
he's getting lesions.
To quit this guy. He's getting fucking face lesions. Look at his face. He's so stressed out. Wow. Chuckles is getting hives all over his face, like open fucking sores. Look at him. This is gonna be awesome.
So one night, this guy that Jimmy hangs around with periodically, who is a raging drunk, like we talk about being alcoholics, and we have friends that drink a lot. This guy is a real problem. So Jimmy went out with him for like, they on Tuesdays or Wednesdays, they would go to this place and have like the shrimp night or something, or it's like all you can eat shrimp. Him and this Bill guy.
Why does that pick him up? Instantly sound funny that he and another dude went out for all you can eat
shrimp at like this shitty restaurant.
I have never said that to a buddy of mine. Hey, what are you doing tonight? I don't know. What are you doing? You want to go out for all you can eat shrimp
to Brewster's? Like what? Anyway. So I pick him up on Wednesday morning, and I can always tell, like, Jimmy, to Jimmy's credit, when he goes hard, he's a fucking man, and he shows up. Mm-hmm. He might not be able to talk until 7:00, but he's in the car when I pick him up at 5 o'clock in the morning, 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Gets in the car, and I'm like, holy shit, dude, what the fuck? He goes, I was out with Bill last night. Not good. We were at the all you can eat shrimp Tuesday night. And he goes, I couldn't get Bill up. I'm like, what are you talking about? He went back to your apartment? He goes, yes. I got up this morning, and I'm like, save it for the air. Save it. I don't want to hear another word. So we get on, and the first break we do is about Bill Ross. And they got shit tanked at the bar on all you can eat shrimp night, went back to the den of sadness. Jimmy passes out, wakes up in the morning. The guy is literally face down in the kitchen. He's surrounded by an empty vodka bottle and the rest of Jimmy's beer. And is Jimmy mad about Bill passed out in his kitchen? No, he's mad because he fucked up all his booze, drank everything in the house.
Are you serious?
Was Jimmy worried that he was dead at first glance?
Okay, well,
Like you see
I
a guy
brought
face
that
down
up,
on your
Bonzi, because
floor.
that's usually what you bring up when someone is face down, shirtless, and no pants on in your kitchen. The first thing Jimmy brings up is this asshole drank all the booze in my house. And so we were making fun of the fact that this guy, this unwanted house guest, not only that, he pissed in the closet. There was a whole bunch of... He didn't know where the bathroom was, so he just took a big piss, and Jimmy stepped in urine in the morning. So we're laughing about this, and then I said, listen, we need to stop, because what... I said to Grant, how would you feel if Jimmy goes home and the guy's actually dead? And Grant goes, I don't want to say.
It's true. Because it'd be funny, right?
I don't want to say what I would think. And that's how I feel about Chris Sky.
I do too. Like, I know it's wrong for me to pine for someone's expiry date, but I don't mind. Like, when it comes to him, I'm like,
aren't you gonna miss the madness though, Dean?
I don't know.
There'll be somebody. There's always somebody that'll step into his shoes. Big guy.
Dude. Like you're down in Arizona. You sent me these pictures today, and I'm like, and I know we're trying to get away from the Chris guys of the world, but these people fucking intrigue me. Like the folks, what you can't see is I put a picture up that Bonzi took. He's in Arizona. He's staying at an RV campground, and it's American Thanksgiving, and it is on for Donald Trump down there. The picture that we're looking at is RVs with POW and Q flags on top of them, and literally like board after board of cornhole in the middle of a desert. And then it's
their national sport.
It is cornhole boards. But like, how fucked did you meet these people yesterday? Because that intrigues me. Like, I know we're talking about crazies, but to be this crazy, to be on the run from reality in an RV, running around with your cornhole games, setting up shop in the middle of the fucking desert. Like, did you meet some of these people yesterday?
I did, yeah. So I went over there. Before I go on, those Trump flags say "Make America Great Again" in quotations, 2024.
Well, when you got a good saying, you lean on it.
Yeah, don't give it up.
Well, I haven't been out for dinner in a while. And so there's a nice restaurant here right down on the water, and I went for dinner, and I was sitting at the bar, and I was listening to everybody talk around me, and everything was, fuck the vax. It's fake. It'll kill you. You can get paralyzed for a year. And then it turned to Trump talk. Oh, we love Trump. Fuck Biden. Everybody fucking hates Biden here. It's unbelievable. And they're willing. I heard a lady and a guy say last night, they are willing to lose their jobs. They are willing to not travel anymore. And they are willing to forego concerts and everything because they're simply not going to get the vax down here because it's fake. We don't need it. COVID's fake. It's real shit, dude. I was blown away by sitting there for an hour.
America.
And
744,000 people in the United States have died from COVID in the last 48 months. Sorry, 24 months.
More people have died from COVID than World War II.
Yeah. COVID in the last 3 months of this year so far, the last 3 months, has been the leading cause of death. I had a heart disease. I had a cancer. I had a car accident. Everything. It is the leading
1,000
cause of-
people a day are still dying in the U.S.
And when did you talk to any of these people? Did you engage with any of them, Bonzi?
Yes, so I did, because there was a guy sitting there and they were talking about Thanksgiving dinner, and he's not allowed to go because he's not vaccinated. These people, there is some people down here that believe in it, and they want proof of vaccination or a negative COVID test before you show up for this big family Thanksgiving gathering. And he's like, there's a bunch of us that are not doing it. We're like, fuck that. We're not getting the vaccination.
Keep in mind, Bonzi is in a trailer park. I mean, like, I hate to, like, sometimes
The Trump force would be stronger in an RV park than like a subdivision in Atlanta.
I know we live in a way more politically correct world, and I know we're not supposed to have these beliefs, or at least you're not supposed to say them out loud, right? That's what my my course that I just took said last week. But that's when stereotypes work.
Yeah,
they work. They really work. Mm-hmm. Right?
Mm-hmm. Especially for Bonzi. So, no, go ahead.
That would be one of them. 2/3. I was reading a stat. 2/3 of Americans are having gatherings, and they're not allowing relatives to show up that have chosen to be unvaccinated. That's a pretty big number. So that's just, hey, listen, hey, are you vaxxed? Yes. Okay, you can take part in my survey. Are you having a gathering? Yes, we are having a gathering. Okay. Next question. Are you allowing unvaccinated? So 2/3 of that group have told unvaccinated members of their family in the United States, and almost 50% of the population in the States is unvaccinated above 18. And that 2/3 are saying that they can't come over to a family function because of their vaccination status. That's a big number, man.
So Bonzi, if you, no, I was going to ask you, or just tell you, like, if you came up here, that script is flipped. Like, when you come up here, there's no one sitting around talking about how the vaccine isn't real, how there's lots of people, depending on where you are in Canada, going, in Alberta, you can go into a bar and there's going to be a lot of people taking a shit on Trudeau, a lot of people taking shit on the government. I get that. I totally, and I'm not on side with those people. But down there, I think it's like reversed, right? Like, it sounds like you have more conversations with people who are fucking dead set against it than you have with people who've been vaccinated. That's what it sounds like when I talk to you.
I also heard last night people say they literally moved here to Arizona to get away from these mask wearing fucking places where everybody's vaccinated and rolling with it. Like, California is a lot different. People were wearing masks in every store, every Walmart, every grocery store. The Uber drivers, I had to wear a fucking mask every time, and they make you wear it. It's no problem. I wear it. It's 10-minute drive. You get here, buddy, I haven't seen a mask on one single person in Arizona yet. Not one.
Wow.
Do you get made fun of yours? Like, do you wear one? Yes.
Well, I don't really go in anywhere. So if I pop in a store, like the only places I really gone in is to pay for diesel, and just to check in here.
They yell at you?
No, I'm sorry.
Did they yell at you when you got a mask?
Fun of you?
No, I've only worn
a mask that happening
because you have it, because I was so used to wearing it in the stores in California and Ubers. And so I've got it in my pocket and ready to pull it out, and I walk in and you look around and there's not a soul's got it on. I'm like, fuck it, put it away. You know, I've been vaccinated. I'm not going to.
You know what?
Listen,
I get
don't want to stand out and cause a ruckus here.
And you know what? I'm a militant common sense guy, and to me, in that situation, common sense would say, don't fucking put it on. Someone's gonna fucking drag you out back and beat the shit out of you for being a pussy.
Well, listen, I'm gonna go around today, tomorrow, and the next day. I'm gonna interview a bunch of people around here. I'm gonna talk to them. I want to get their perspective on stuff, like we talked about. And because last night,
you should wear a gas mask when you do the interviews.
Yeah, you should. You should wear like one of those, like a full-on mustard gas mask from the Second World War.
Abe, you got a minute?
And my I Heart Biden T-shirt.
Hey, can I talk to you for a second from behind this mask? That'd be great. Thanks.
Yeah. But dude, you have to go and talk to these people. Like I see these pictures that you sent, and all I
should
could
roll
think about.
video.
You need to video.
I need to
this.
see video of this.
I want to see these people in action. Like, to me, this is just a prop. To me, this is like the moon landing didn't happen.
You know what
Yeah.
I would do
Well,
too is
they're all
I would
sitting
challenge
around
them all
under
to
those
cornhole.
tents.
Yeah,
I don't
What's
know
that?
if you can
Could
see
make
it,
a
but
killing.
they're all sitting around under the tent right now, and right now in the middle of the day, they're all out ripping around on their dirt bikes and their side by sides too, and shooting guns. I took Tucker for a walk yesterday. I was walking by this guy's site, and there's 3 side by sides. They all get out and they got fucking these huge guns, right? And I'm like, oh, good hunting today, boys. And they're like, oh, we didn't hunt nothing. We just shot tin cans out in the desert. You know, that's what they do out here for fun. They were thrilled. He's
Like an activity is just to go
"Fireball."
out and shoot inanimate things? That's one of the things they do down there?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
it is here in Arizona. There's a ton of dirt trails here, so everybody here's either got, like I said, a dirt bike, a side by side, or a 4-wheeler, and they just go ripping around here with their guns and go shoot shit out in the desert.
How many of those people do you think that are running, legitimately running from the vaccine and running from the law? How many of those
There's
people?
a plethora here. I'm gonna take a video later. I'll post it on Twitter and stuff, and I'll do a
Doesn't
blog
even hesitate.
in the next day or
No.
two.
All of them.
I'll show
Majority
you the
of them.
size of this place.
Yeah.
It's a huge RV resort and marina, and so you've got your boaters who are anti-vax. You got your RVers who are anti-vax. It's fascinating stuff here, and it is Trump flags and American flags, or I hate fuck or fuck Biden stickers everywhere.
Yeah. They got the old the Let's Go Brandon flag on the
Yep.
back of this guy's 4-wheeler too.
Yeah, there's
who's
a lot
Brandon?
of those.
It's like you don't want to know. It's just a terrible thing people say about Joe Biden, and that's the way they say it. Let's go, Brandon. It's I'd get
It's a
it. I don't
big thing
get it.
down here.
It's just a really awful thing. Like it is, and they've coined it, and QAnon uses it, and all of these guys that hate him. But it is. Do these people really think Donald Trump's coming back? Like when you talk to them, or you listen?
100% they do. Oh yeah.
Like
Literally,
not even no, and Dean, it's not even next election. It's
Like
as soon as all the pedophiles are arrested and they can actually prove that the last election was fixed, we're just going to move him back into the White House. Him and
he's
Melania.
just sliding right back in there.
I hope your
Yeah.
shit's in storage,
Oh,
Trump.
they
Like,
fully believe that.
They literally
really?
believe yes.
But when you talk to them, like, do they just volunteer this information? Like, because up here it's different. People that believe that don't talk about it because they're like,
Because they
think
know
I'm
how
crazy.
fucking stupid they sound.
It's so different here. It really has been eye-opening being here
You're
for
okay
8
with
months,
sounding
and
stupid.
especially in the states. A lot of the places where they love Trump down here. I
Yeah.
spent a lot of time in Texas, and now Arizona. It's
Arizona
fascinating
used to be
see.
a blue state, didn't it?
No,
Are you
no,
sure?
it's always
Has it
been heavy
red?
Republican because of John
Is it?
McCain.
Okay.
Yeah. John McCain was a senator there for a long time. Super fucking.
But John
war hero.
McCain hated Trump. Don't they know that?
Yeah, I know, but like, dude, this is the part that blows my mind still. Like, Bonzi sends up a couple of pictures of these people enjoying American Thanksgiving. Legitimately, the only thing that they put up when they get there are Trump flags.
Yeah.
Like,
They're everywhere.
America and Trump. America, Trump, POW, Q, Trump. Do you see a lot of Q posters out there too? Have you seen a lot of that?
I haven't seen as many QAnon flags. I think I've seen 2 and a bunch of bumper stickers. But as
That's
for there's
insane
not
to
as
me.
many as there are Trump flags and the American. It's side by each. It's the American flag with the Trump or a fuck Biden or something underneath it,
Yeah.
or a
Nice.
2024 Make America Great Again. It's everywhere here.
Yeah, everywhere.
I see a ton of fuck Trudeau stickers
Yeah, you're in Western Canada.
all the time. Yeah, if
Yeah.
you go outside for 10 minutes, you're gonna see a fuck Trudeau sticker in
I
Alberta.
saw a dude put a fuck Trudeau flag right over the front of his car. You know how like when the World Cup is around and everybody puts
Yeah.
like if you're from Brazil, you'll super glue a Brazilian flag to the hood of your Toyota Corolla.
Yeah.
I just say Toyota Corolla because they all drive 'em. But I saw a guy put literally desecrate a brand new Dodge truck. It was a Dodge Ram pickup, and it just said "fuck Trudeau" on the front, and on the back it had a picture one of those stick figures of 4 people, and it said Trudeau's family, and then it had like one of the stick figure guy laying on his back, dead. And I'm like, I bet you that guy hates Trudeau.
Yeah, it's funny you bring up the Dodge Ram truck, because the black Dodge Ram truck, speaking of stereotypes, if you're driving around in Edmonton and someone aggressively passes you or is aggressively tailgating you, no matter what the road conditions are, there is a solid chance, and I think an above 50% chance, that it's somebody behind the wheel of a black Dodge Ram truck. I don't know why. And we say it all the time on the radio. And if you're talking about like really aggressive drivers in Alberta, they, for whatever reason, they gravitate towards that truck. First snowfall of the year, they're mad because everyone's driving like, 30, 40K. And they're like, tearing around people, yelling,
big wheels.
Fingering. Yeah.
Fucking wild. We live in a wild world. And that's why, when we were talking about the Rittenhouse stuff the other day, I was like, hey, listen, America's different. Like they value, like, this is an activity. Shooting tin cans is an activity. And speaking of Rittenhouse, I want to end with this. Have you guys seen the Kyle Rittenhouse Tucker Carlson interview? Have you guys seen
couldn't
this?
watch it. I
just caught a couple seconds, and I caught the funny clip that was in our DMs that made me laugh my ass off. I don't know if you're going to show that, but
well, I'll play this for you because I find it interesting. This didn't make it on the Fox News, but I'm glad someone found it. This is Tucker Carlson interviewing Kyle Rittenhouse in the United States of America. These cutters don't fucking bleed, bro. But anyway, this is an amazing interview. Real quick snippet. Watch this with us and enjoy.
What did you make of the President of the United States calling you a white supremacist?
Mr. President, if I could say one thing to you, I would urge you to go back and watch the trial and understand the facts before you make a statement.
Who did that?
I don't. It's so fucking incredible, though. It's Tucker Carlson. Someone photoshopped Hitler's hair and mustache onto Tucker Carlson, but then they photoshopped Kyle Rittenhouse in a Grand Wizard KKK outfit
my God.
to ask this question.
What did you make of the President of the United States calling you a white supremacist?
Mr. President, if I could say one thing to you, I would urge you to go back and watch the trial and understand the facts before you make a statement.
Whoever did it is a genius, because
I was actually
the Grand Wizard had to move around and everything. It was incredible.
Yeah, I was actually angry when I sent my kids to a protest that they came home and hadn't shot anybody. Right, like when they were young, when they hit 15, that's when I said, okay, now kids,
make it count.
Now you have to go to protests with AR-15s.
Yeah,
and if you don't come home having shot somebody, you're not getting fucking, screw dinner. You're going to bed without dinner.
Straight to bed.
That's right. That's right.
That's my problem with it. I mean, whether or not it was self-defense, I mean, we can have that conversation. The kid's 17. He's at a protest that he doesn't believe in. He doesn't believe in the reason why the protest is happening. And he's there with an AR-15 shooting people. Yeah. And
America,
that's America, and it's different. It's just fucking wrong on so many levels. I don't even know where to start. You can't even unpack it.
It's not in the States,
Dean.
Dude. It's not wrong in the States.
It doesn't matter that it's in the States. It's so fucking backwards that a 17-year-old kid decided that it was a good idea to go hang out at a protest with a fucking machine gun strapped around his fucking neck. That is so fucking backwards. And if they think there's a way out down there for that, how many hundreds of millions of people in the United States?
350.
350 million. If they think there's a way out, I don't know what it is, man, because that's fucked. I'm not going to the States. And anybody that I know that's fucking in the States is a lunatic.
Bonzi. Yeah.
Like, I am surprised
I'm
you haven't
scared
been shot yet.
Yeah, because of your mouth, number one. Number two, you're vaccinated. Like, you should have been shot months ago. Seriously. You should have been shot for your mouth, but now you're are you scared to tell any of these people you're vaccinated? Did they ask you if you're vaccinated? Do you share that information or do you hide it?
They did
Just
not
tell-
ask.
They'll
Yeah, but
They
what
did
would you
not
do?
ask.
What would
No
you do if
fucking
someone
way.
said,
They'll be on. Hey,
Listen, I am full redneck for the next however many days I'm here for American Thanksgiving. I am full on redneck now. I'm
You're
not
stop wearing
vaccinated.
fucking teal. I don't know what the hell you're doing walking around in that T-shirt. Honestly, dude, you escaped quite a bit from this podcast today. Actually, if you told them why you're there, that you're on the run from an encounter that you just recently had, you'll be fine.
I'd be a hero, yeah. No,
Yeah.
they're all packing heat here, dude. They're all ripping around in their wheelers and their stuff and drinking their beers. And I'm going to rent a fucking 4-wheeler and I'm going to start ripping around here with my
If you
wife
can't
beater on.
beat them,
and-
join them.
and- yeah, fucking
Oh,
A
yeah,
right.
dude.
And I am
Yeah.
not vaccinated this weekend. That's
dude, you got to
just-
get a QAnon poster. You got to put it on the side of your bus if you really want to fucking fit in, seriously, because like you're probably the only dude with a bus at the RV resort that doesn't have a "Let's Go Brandon" or QAnon or Trump sticker on the bus.
That's a
right?
good
Like,
point.
legitimately.
Dean, you bring
need to.
that up, they're going to think
Yeah.
you're an outsider. They're going to
Absolutely.
think you're their fucking.
You're gonna get killed.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
in your
I
sleep.
love how I asked him if he was going to
Where's
admit to
Tucker?
being vaccinated.
I'm
I love
worried
how I
about
asked him
Tucker.
that, and he was like, "Fuck no, I'm a full-on redneck for the next 5 days. Like I am going to tell everybody
Oh, yeah.
I hate Joe Biden. Fuck Obama.
Keep that dog
who-
handy too.
Yeah. Hang on.
Yeah,
to your dog.
he's right here. Don't worry, I don't go anywhere without him. So, listen, I'm heading back to that restaurant tonight or sometime today because I'm doing the Fire for Effect podcast tonight. Then I write into my own show. So, and they close early on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to get there tonight, but we'll definitely be there tomorrow.
Yeah, you
Definitely
need
going to
some
go
chew.
walk around and get some content and
All right.
interview
Chew.
some of these people.
Just
Yeah,
have
get some
a,
chew.
a
Oh,
lip
I've got
full
my
of.
chew too. I love chew. I just got a new bag yesterday.
All right.
I love it.
Attaboy.
I love chew.
I'll
Chew.
fit right in. I'll be walking around, spitting in my bottle and fitting right in.
Good.
And hold on,
I might even buy
Hey.
a bottle of Jack Daniels and like pour a quarter of
good.
it out and then just walk around and look like I fit in and just pretend like I'm swilling it.
You know what? Give your dog a good swift kick or two as well when you approach the party, because that way everybody will go, "Yeah, he's one of us. He's one of us."
and spit into
Well-
a Mountain Dew
Yeah.
bottle.
Put your hork into a Mountain Dew bottle and just kind of keep it handy. Hey, make sure you do that. And
Wish me luck, boys. This
and make
weekend.
sure
Holy
you
shit.
get if you really want to fit in tonight, like if you want to solidify your role in the community of degenerates in the RV park in Arizona that you're in,
A Texaco hat.
get caught jerking off in a Walmart parking lot. Does it every time.
Listen, I'm trying to get out of here without being arrested, and I'm so close now. So,
All right.
well,
Well, listen,
I
Bonzi,
don't
we
wanna
look
get
forward.
shot,
Yeah.
and I just want to make it home safe.
Listen, if you get shot and make it, it's a
Content.
pretty big story.
Not that
dude.
we need
Yeah.
to be talking about where you are based on your current situation, but you are on your way to somewhere to dump the bus, right? That's the
Correct.
plan. Okay.
Yeah.
When's the bus meeting?
It's up to me. I'll probably save it till Monday now because I'm still working on the bus, getting it cleaned up. I did a lot of packing last night and cleaning. But now that it's Thanksgiving Eve here, the place is going to be shut down for the next 3-4 days.
Okay.
So I'll probably go see him Monday. That'll give
Okay.
me a chance to get everything done in order, and off we go.
All right, man. Well, listen. Go ahead.
I did invite him to stay at my place at Christmas. We're seeing whether or not he's going to take me up on that, or if he's going to go back to Ontario, or his plans are up in the air. But keep us posted, Bonzi. Very curious about what you're going to do here.
I'd love to come and babysit, house sit your house, and then maybe it kind of coincides. I could get my ass over to West Edmonton Mall and get some good coverage for the People on Dell Network and my own show at these Chris Guy events whilst I stay at your house.
He'll
I
be
am not doing
He
that.
may be in a morgue by then. You better get out there quick.
Don't say that.
Because there's some guys looking for him. Seriously.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, him in a morgue. I thought you meant me.
Yeah. No, not you. Him. Bonds, thanks for doing this, buddy. Really appreciate seeing you today.
Pleasure.
Thanks so much for being part of the show.
Yeah,
Locke,
thanks for
great
having
to
me.
see you as well. Lachlan Cross, 95.7 Cruise FM in Edmonton. Listen to him online, 95.7 Cruise FM in Edmonton. Just Google it. You'll be able to find the listen live. And follow him on Twitter, too, at Lachlan Cross, Bonzi at Bonzi Live, or Tripping with Bonzi. Thanks, buddy. Talk to you soon. That's it. Da, 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 da. Maybe one more time with Tucker Carlson and Kyle Rittenhouse.
What did you make of the President of the United States calling you a white supremacist?
Mr. President, if I could say one thing to you, I would urge you to go back and watch the trial and understand the facts before you make a statement.
America. Thanks, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving to my American friends that don't live in a suspended reality. Hope you enjoy it. A lot of football on the next couple of days. I'll be watching a lot of that. And thanks to you. Thanks to our friends and partners, sponsors, everybody that's involved in this program. Really appreciate everybody's support. I really do. And if you want to follow us, and we'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe to YouTube, Dean Blundell Show on YouTube, as well as Twitch, Dean Blundell TV on Twitch, or sign up for a newsletter at deanblundell.com. Super easy to do. Thanks to everybody for being part. Thanks to Caryma, folks. Thanks to our sponsors, including Ed's Fine Imports, edsfineimports.com. His Gitch I wear. You can wear it too. Gitch, and then the number 3 is your promo code GITCH, and then the number 3. Order underwear from Ed, boxer briefs, pouch in the front, Canadian made. You will not regret it. Gitch 3 is your promo code, edsfineimports.com. Thanks to Domination for making this possible as well. They're our partner when it comes to producing content. You can do the same thing with them. Free to try, dmntn.com. Try them out today. It's AI for people that do gaming, streaming, and want to produce promos and other legacy content. You can do it in minutes instead of hours. dmntn.com, and our friends at Easy Auto Financial as well. Thank you, guys, for being sponsors, part of the show. Really appreciate it. Easy Auto Financial is a company that helps you get financing. They don't charge you for anything. They pass that on. And then they find you the car that you need. They take the guesswork out of getting a car. All the anxiety of waiting for your credit check doesn't matter. They just want to get you in a car. And they'll do it 100% of the time. Go to easyautofinancial.ca today. Have a great day, everybody. See you tomorrow around this time. Bye.